Hello and welcome to another edition of 805 Focus. My name's Eric Davis, Executive Director of TV Santa Barbara, and we're here telling stories of nonprofit organizations throughout Santa Barbara County. Today we got a great interview with Carolyn Jabbs, Board Chair of the Women's Fund of Santa Barbara. Welcome.
Thank you. It's really good to be here.
Yes, this is a great chance to catch up. You just celebrated 20 years.
Yes. Last year was our 20th year in operation, and it's pretty amazing the way we've grown.
That's pretty amazing to be 20 years.
Yes.
You know, that takes a real mission. It takes real effort. And how long have you been involved in the Women's Fund?
Well, I've been involved since we moved here about 12 years ago.
Okay.
I found the Women's Fund. I came to Santa Barbara and knew I wanted to be involved in something philanthropic. Yeah. But this is a very complex philanthropic community. And fortunately, I found the Women's Fund, which is a place where women can entrust their philanthropic dollars and know that they're going to be used wisely, and in the process learn a great deal about the community and what the needs are and who's meeting those needs.
So for the people out there watching, and 805 Focus airs every day from 3 to 4 on our channel 17, how would you describe the Women's Fund?
The Women's Fund is a collective giving organization, which means that we don't have fundraisers. We don't really have staff. We're volunteer-led. And so at this point, we are over 1,400 members who put what they can into the pot. And then at the end of the year, we collect that money. We identify programs that can benefit from significant grants, and we give the money back to the community.
So we were talking beforehand, and you mentioned you have 1,400 members. Are they all in Santa Barbara?
They're all in South Santa Barbara County, or most of them. Occasionally somebody moves away and still wants to be a member, but most of our members are in South Santa Barbara County.
And you recruit your membership via word of mouth?
It's word of mouth. I mean, we have an unusual membership structure. We vote on our ballot. Our members get to vote on our ballot, and in order to have a vote, you contribute $2,750. Some people contribute that on their own, but most of our members are part of groups where they aggregate their funds together to get to that level. And so that gives us an interesting way of being connected around what the community needs are, because when our ballot comes out, our members have to get together and discuss how to cast their votes.
That's incredible. So you got your membership, and then you also have 200 volunteers, you say?
Yes. Many of our members do want to get more involved. I mean, some of them do join the research committee because that's it's challenging work, but it's very rewarding because those researchers go out and develop a proposal with a nonprofit agency for something that will benefit women, children, or families, and can benefit from a grant of $50,000 to $200,000. That's the highest grant we've given at this point. So that's a significant amount of money, and our researchers want to be really sure that the agencies have a clear plan, that they have outcomes that they can measure, that they have the infrastructure to be able to handle a grant of that size. So a lot of our volunteers end up on that committee doing that work. And then we have our finances are handled, our communications, we have events. All of that is done by volunteers.
That's amazing.
It really is. It's very cool.
So that's a big task, selecting nonprofits to support.
Yes. I mean, it starts every year, as I said, we have a database. We send out a letter or an email to say, if you have an idea, send it to us. Then our research committee starts with a rubric that kind of sorts through those ideas. Our members have given us feedback about what they regard as the most critical needs in the community. And so the research committee begins to sort that. And then when they come to a list of about 30 promising projects, they send it to our finance committee. They vet the agencies to be sure that they are in a position to responsibly manage a sizable grant. And then from there, a researcher is assigned to each project, and they develop a proposal that eventually goes on to a ballot. The projects that get through the whole process go to a ballot that goes to our membership.
So it's project-based. You guys are looking at project more so than the nonprofit organization itself.
Yes, because we don't – our grants, sometimes they're usually 1, sometimes 2 years, and once somebody has received a grant, they can't apply again for another year.
Yes.
So we're not in general operating funds.
And then there must be some incredible outcome stories from these grants.
It is so satisfying. I mean, we have a website where we describe all the grants that we've given for the last 20 years. So anybody who's interested can go there. There's a wide variety of concerns. I mean, our members are concerned about critical needs. So shelter is a big one. Last year, we were able to fund CityNet needed women who are unsheltered often find it difficult to go into congregate settings because they've been traumatized. And so they wanted to have a vehicle that could go and find women where they are, meet them where they are, a vehicle that would have a shower, that would have a private space, internet connection. And we were able to help them purchase that vehicle and do that kind of outreach. So that's a pretty satisfying thing to be involved in.
And who are some of the most latest recipients?
Well, last year, CityNet was one of them. Dignity Moves, which has
Sure.
been very involved in local building shelters for unsheltered people, and their tiny house project in downtown Santa Barbara was a huge success. We were involved in that. And then they wanted to expand that idea and have a community for families that were unsheltered, which often means a single mother and children. And they had put together the funding for the village itself, but they wanted a child care facility, and we were able to help them, give them the funds to develop the child care facility.
What important work.
That's how it feels. I mean, part of the benefit of collective giving is that as an individual, you might be able to give a couple $100, but you don't have the sense of impact. When we pool our funds together, we can do really amazing stuff. And that's really the magic of the Women's Fund.
That is incredible. And so you were telling to me about when you gather to award these grants. That has got to be just a magical time, not only for the group, the organization itself, but really changing for some of these projects.
Yes. It's a very dramatic and moving event. I mean, our calendar year, we start our grant process in this time of year in May or in April, and then it goes through a balloting process that happens next March. It has just finished this year in March, and then we know the results of our voting, but no one knows until the celebration of grants, and that's when we do the unveiling. And the organizations that receive the grants speak about what they intend to do with the money. And there's rarely a dry eye. I mean, it's really something to hear what people are able to do with these funds.
And this is each May you do this?
Yes, every May.
At the Libero Theater?
It has been at the Libero last year and this year, and we hope in the future. They're a wonderful home for us.
And that's a big theater. I mean,
it is.
And it's beautiful, too.
It's beautiful, and it feels like it honors these people who are doing this hard work on behalf of our communities. I mean, these projects that we fund are serious, difficult things that really need to be done.
Do the recipients get to know beforehand, or is it? I would imagine they have to have a clue.
Well, in the sense that they have to be there.
Yes.
They suspect something is
They
up.
suspect something is up. Now, you're the board chair, and a board chair of an organization, a nonprofit's a lot of work. Talk about your passion and how you got into this, and what was your path coming through the organization?
Well, mine was a little different. I was a writer in my professional life, and when I came to Santa Barbara, as I said, I wanted to learn about the philanthropic community, and I was recruited to be the recording secretary for the research committee, which was a lovely thing for me. I'd been recording interviews most of my professional life. So then getting to sit in and on the deliberations of that committee, I did that for 9 years. So I really got to be a fly on the wall, listening to the researchers and the seriousness and the sophistication of their questions and the intelligence that they applied to that process. It was extraordinary. And every year there would be a period of, at the beginning, it's like, well, what is this going to look like, this ballot? And even during COVID, this process unfolded, and it was remarkably connected to what the needs were in the community. I mean, the Women's Fund Research Committee understood before anyone else that I knew about that mental health was going to be a crucial need. And so that first year we funded several mental health programs because the research committee really knows its stuff.
How big is that research committee?
It's usually 12 to 16 people. It depends on the year and the number of people who get involved. So.
And if people want to get involved and participate in this wonderful organization, what's the best way to do that?
There's a website.
Okay.
And it's a very easy website to join. You can either join, as I said, as an individual member, or you can join as a group member. Some people actually come with a little group. I mean, sometimes it's,
Great.
a mother-daughter. Sometimes it's a book club. Sometimes it's a walking group. as our vice chair says, there are many ways to Women's Fund. So, and if you don't have a group, then we will help you find like-minded people and get you connected with other people in a group.
So explain that a little bit more. Let's say there's a book club. They've heard about this and want to get involved. They go to the website. What's the process there?
The website, we have something called Group Captain Liaisons, and they will talk them through the process of getting a group going. There's not a lot to it. Some of the groups meet quite a bit. I mean, some of them really are social friends otherwise. Some of them only meet once a year to discuss the ballot. So there's a lot of flexibility. Part of the beauty of Women's Fund is that it can expand and collapse to meet women's lives. So if you have a lot of time, which, at some points in your life you do, then we have all kinds of good things for you to do. When you're stressed for time, all you need to do is write that check, and you're part of the organization and part of, this collective giving. So
one of the things I'm always fascinated by with businesses and especially nonprofits is the origin. Do you know a little bit about the origin story?
I do. This has become almost mythical, but it is really wonderful. There were 10 women. I don't know them personally because it was before my time, but they were people who were very involved in the philanthropic community, but they felt like they were putting too much of their time into fundraisers and silent auctions and other things. And they thought, what we really want to do is really understand. We want to be more informed. We don't want to do this other work. We want to be more informed, and we just want to see to it that our money goes someplace quickly and efficiently and gets into the hands of the people who can make good use of it. So there was a giving circle in Los Angeles. They went down, met with those people. Some of them came here to talk, and about 10 women got together the first year. And I think their first year's grants were $140,000, but I might be wrong about that. And then they decided that initially it was fairly sizable donations, $1,000. And then they decided, no, that's not really what we want. We want anyone to be able to participate in this. And so that's when they came up with this idea of groups, that groups could get together and raise the money for a single vote. However they do it is up to them. And that way more people could be involved in this. And one of the benefits over time has been that this is a place where women can talk about these issues together. I mean, you have these women who are coming together because they want to do good things in the community. And so they have a chance to talk about what they see as community needs. They have a chance to talk about the nonprofits that they've been involved with, where they volunteered, maybe they've served on a board, and they share that information. And so everybody gets a little stronger, a little more informed, a little better at doing this.
So it started with a group of 10,
right?
The Giving Circle. I think you mentioned the definition of collective giving early, so it's maintained that over the last 20 years.
Absolutely. The founding principles were really strong, just very, very, very strong of bring the money in, do good research, and send the money out, and make it something that volunteers, it's volunteer. That way we can give 84, let me see, I'm going to forget the numbers, but a huge percentage of every dollar that comes in goes back into grants and education.
Wow. Yeah, that's a... And besides, do you have any other funding? You said you're not doing the fundraisers or silent auctions or some of the things that millions of organizations do around town. But grants or other ways?
We do have operational costs. I mean, because we have a website, we have to pay for that. We have an accountant who does, sees to it that we're in compliance with tax laws and things like that. And we have some sponsors who help us with the operational costs. So we keep them as low as we possibly can partly because being volunteer-led creates the sense of community among the women who get involved. And we take great pride in the fact that, many of the women are very capable people who in their careers have done, they've built websites, they've built corporations, and now they're bringing that expertise and that passion to us. That's pretty exciting.
That is pretty exciting. Now, you have a lot of energy and passion around this. I'd love to see that. So you've got to be getting something out of this. And you have any stories you could share with our audience about, what moves you? And
Well, I think it is this feeling of that collectively we can put pool our resources, whether that's talent or time or money,
Yeah.
and we can make good things happen. And seeing that happen again and again and again, especially when times are uncertain, and right now for nonprofits, times are very uncertain. And so knowing that we can put what we have together, and then we can make a difference. And that feels really, really good right now. It's a real antidote to some of the uncertainty and anxiety.
I bet to have a stable funding source for key projects around the community that really make a difference.
Yes. And to have these connections between women who
Yes.
support each other in doing this kind of work and want to help each other get better.
And where do you group and gather and talk?
Oh, it varies. I mean, a lot of it is Zoom, of course, since the pandemic. There are meetings on Zoom. One of our members, our former chair, runs CoLab in the Lacombe Mall. We meet there sometimes. So there are a variety of settings. Sometimes people offer their homes. We're very improvisational, and we just figure things out.
And I bet you some beautiful friendships and bonds develop out of this.
Yes. No question. I mean, there's a depth to this because you really are working on things that you really care about, and you move very quickly past the small talk to really talk about things that are important.
And as we kind of wrapping up here a little bit, we got a few minutes left, but can you say the website again and tell people how to get involved?
It's Women's Fund of
You could just Google Women's Fund of Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to find the website for sure. I should know that. But
And then the funding amount to get started is
the group needs to aggregate $2,750. Many groups, for simplicity's sake, have 10 members. And so everybody gives $275, and then you've reached your vote level. But then many members over time want to give more, and so groups have more votes over the years. And as I said, there are just so many ways to configure this, which is one of the things I love about it. That you really can find what works for you, and you're part of the group.
And so coming up is your next big giving event.
Yes, every May this year, May 20th, but every May we have one of these events, and members. I mean, this is one of I guess if you talk about recruitment, this is one of the things that draws people into the organization because it is so. It's really inspirational to hear from the people who are doing the work and to know that you have allowed them to do something that they've maybe been dreaming of for a long time, and now because of our funding, they can actually do it, and that's a good feeling.
And a lot of work probably goes into this event as
every event. But again, we have volunteers who who step up and pull it together. And that reception after the celebration of grants feels like a reunion. I mean, members see each other and they, this point, 20 years worth of membership, a lot of these people have been involved for a long time.
Oh, that's got to be an incredible day. So you've been around for 20 years. We love the origin story. You're making a difference today. What's the future hold?
I think we want to be very responsive to our community. Our future is about what's happening here. We really want to understand the needs of women, children, and families, and those evolve over time. I mean, after the pandemic, mental health was a huge issue. There have been times when food insecurity has been a real crisis issue for many people. So we really want to be responsive to that. We know that childcare in the community is also a huge need.
Yes.
And so as we do our research, and of course we collaborate with other local nonprofits to try to understand the nonprofit landscape because it's complex and it's always evolving. And so we want to be in a position to help people who have good ideas and with a little more money could make them come to light. We want to be there for them.
And again, as we close out this show, and thank you again for being on. This has been a wonderful conversation. What's the best way for people to support the Women's Fund of Santa Barbara?
Go to our website and just Google Women's Fund at santabarbara.com, and you will find our website. And there you will find there is a join button, and just press on that, and you'll see the options. And we also are very responsive to email. Again, volunteers, who answer our emails and will respond and help people set up groups if that's what they want to do, or figure out how they can get involved.
Well, thank you for being on today.
Thank you.
And for all you watchers out there, go Google Women's Fund of Santa Barbara. Join and help make a difference in our community for the next 20 years. I'm Eric Davis, Executive Director of TV Santa Barbara, and you've watched another edition of the 805 Focus.